Hey guys, what's up? It's time for some more Yugi tubing. Always fun and exciting. So here we go with another X-Saber deck. A little change to it. It's actually more consistent than even my last deck. So I really I've always admired the archetype. Obviously, I named my channel after it because it's just my favorite deck. I've always loved the archetype since it came out, and I'll continue to play it forever on the side, of course. So anyway, guys, let's get into the deck profile, shall we? So here we go with the deck. I'm going to start you off with 2 copies of Double X-Saber Full Helm Knight. Again, like I mentioned in the last video, he's pretty good running into sets, and that's pretty much all Shadalls do is set cards and get ready, to set up their plays if they don't open with Fusion. So, and of course, Burning Abyss does that quite a lot as well. And so, 2 copies of Double X-Saber Full Helm Knight, specialing from the grave when attacking over a defense type, a defense position monster. And so, I like 2 copies of him. He's a solid road to target as well, which we now run, by the way. We run 3 copies of Double X-Saber Bogart Knight. Obviously, your quickest card in the deck. He specials out a card from your hand. You make a quick Xyz, which would be our only target is Tiger King, and or depending on what you want to play in the deck, any extra deck, or you can pretty much go into any X-Saber synchro. So 3 copies of him is necessary, and of course when you summon him and another X-Saber monster from your hand, you can pretty much make this guy, which is Double X-Saber Full Troll, and I now run 3 once again. And so here's the reason why I run 3. I run 3 Full Trolls because I never ran the deck the way I do now. And the way I run the deck now is I base it off of search power. And I basically saw how consistent my Gearja deck was, and of course with all the searching. And so, being that X-Sabers have Warriors and Beast Warriors, you'll later see that I run 3 copies of Rhoda and 3 copies of Tanky for deck thinning, and obviously the Dark Souls and the Emmer's Blade thin your main as well. And so, of course, with that being said, you'll always have the hand that you'll pretty much always have the hand that you want to set this guy up. And like I said in the previous video, he is your power play card. He's your go-to guy. He's your basically your win condition. And I feel like not making this guy is too critical, and so you have to be sure to make him. And so hopefully down the road I don't eat my words, but I think this deck that I'm running now, the build is much more consistent than any other before. And being that this is pretty much the only inconsistent card in the whole deck, I think you can kind of take that and kind of take a risk on it. So I think 3 Full Trolls is excellent in the current build. And of course, search power with Dark Soul, very good card. Send it to the graveyard, from your field to the graveyard, search at the end phase. 2 copies, still play 2 copies of X-Saber Pulse Rule, of course stalls for days, and make some nice high unlight plays. A little rhyme for you right there. 2 copies of the Insect, the Double X-Saber Emmer's Blade. When someone, if this would be destroyed by battle, special one from the deck, for a lower X-Saber monster from the deck. It's always a good card. It's a little slow, but like I said, it's all about deck thinning. And if you're in a position where you have to stall, anyway, it's not all that bad. And so, 2 copies of Emmer's Blade. We run 1 copy of X-Saber Airbellum because discarding from hand is a little risky. However, it does mess up opponents and their plays that they're trying to set up. Because if you look at decks like Shadalls and Burning Abyss and even Kleeports right now, it's all about searching. And if you're a smart meta player, you're gonna make sure you don't summon everything at once, and you set up your hand and make a push at the end. And so I think poking from the hand is really effective against certain decks. And of course, if it seems to be a problem, you can always slide it out. And then we run one copy of double X-Saber Garter Strike because he's like the Cyber Dragon of the deck. And then your only way, well, currently your only way to recycle your Fall Trolls is your Rajat Gura, of course, with the new spell card, soon to come out in the next set, which is actually about 3 weeks from now. Until we get that out, which we'll probably run probably two of. This card will stay in. Then we run for the Fire Fist engine. We run 2 copies of Bear and 1 copy of Gorilla. Now, I got asked why I run these on my previous video. Why did I think they were necessary? And I think I explained it pretty well. Basically, it's all about popping power. And I know that there are certain decks out there that you don't want to pop stuff, but there are certain cards that this deck can't get over. And I think just being able to walk up with a bear, pop tanky, pop your monster, and kind of turn the whole duel around is huge. And the fact that you can search off of it with tanky, which you run anyway for the Bogart Knights, is pretty amazing. And if you haven't tried it, I would try it because it is so worth it. Popping monsters on the field is a nuisance. And like I said, Vanities is the card of the format. And if you can't get around Vanities, you're not going to win the duel. And so you have to get around Vanities with Bear and Gorilla. And so we then run the 1 copy of Redux, Dragon Roller of Boulders, and really the only reason I'm keeping this guy in is because we do run the 1 big guy, and because we also run the, it's also good for the Monster Reborn effect and stalling, and of course, like I mentioned in the last video, this plus a Pushful is a easy Gotham's. Now on to the spells. So a good hefty monster lineup for you there. And so those are your monsters. We run the 3 copies of Fire Formation, Tanky. I finally got the 3rd one. I think right after I recorded the last video. So I waited off a little bit to record. I wasn't going to make a separate video just for the Tankies, but I really like the search power that this deck gets off of Tanky, and the Bears and the Gorillas can be strong by themselves, as you can probably, if you play Glad Beasts or Fire Kings or Boujins or anything that utilizes this card, you're probably going to run this exact same pairing of Gorilla and Bear. You can run 3 Bear, maybe 2 of each, but I like the 2-in-1 ratio. So, like I said, I like the search power with the deck. The deck thinning is quite important to the list, and really it comes down to making quick Gotham's and Fall Trolls. So, 3 Tankies, 3 Rhoda. Now, the problem that has come up with 3 Rhoda is that, in essence, you only have 2 copies of Full Hell Knight, 2 copies of Pastoral, and I believe that's it. And so this might be a problem, and I realize that. However, I'm not going to cut Rhoda down to 2 because I think it's like an Upstart Goblin, but a little bit better, because you want the monster presence in hand, so therefore it's a little bit better than Upstart Goblin, and plus you don't give 1,000 to your life points to your opponent, because life points is really critical, and more so now than before. And I think that Rhoda still should be played at 3. Of course, if you have the 1 left over, or even 2 left over, you can always set them as bluffs, and I think that it makes for quite the explosive play when you can go double Rhoda, or a Rhoda and a Tanky Fall Troll, and all this crazy stuff. And so it's just some full reassurance, and I've basically went crazy over the idea of running 3 rotas, being able to run 3 rotas and 3 tankies, and if you want 3 upstart goblins. I don't run 3 upstart goblins. I don't run any upstart goblins, but if I wanted to, I would. The problem is you have to have a certain amount of defensive cards against the current meta. So 3 copies of this. A card that's been seeing a lot more play as of late, really in the game, is Enemy Controller. And I guess you can say Burning Abyss kind of reinvented this card. And I've always been a supporter of this card. I think it's been a great card all throughout. Being able to plus off this card with Dark Soul when you tribute it and take a monster from your opponent is super good. And again, the changing to defense position is a really underrated thing. So I really like the econs. And similar to econ, we run the 1 Mind Control, and to clear Vanity's boards, we run the 1 Raigeki. So a nice spell lineup for you there. We run a total of 10 spells. And for the traps, nice trap lineup. Not too much that would hurt the meta. Just something that you want to, kind of further your game state with, or I guess it's a very aggressive deck, or a very aggressive build, I would say. And so we do run the 2 econs, Gotham's Ecalls, and so we run 2 of this. We'll definitely run 2 of the spells. Not Saber Reflection, though. We'll probably run 3 of that. We'll probably cut the Fire Fist engine eventually, and we'll probably add 3 reflections and 2 of the new spells. So the other spells, the Gotham spells. So, but this right now is your only Saber card that you play. So spell trap that you play. We then run 3 copies of Trapstone, because traps is a big problem with Soul Drain, Skill Drain, Vanities, you name it. It's very tough against Burning Abyss. Very tough matchup when they set you back in time with the Wing Blast and whatnot. So 3 Trapstone. And then we run 1 copy of Reinforced Truth. Another card that will further your game state and just help you to make a quicker full troll with Pastoral on board. And then we run, for the only defensive cards that I think are the best right now, Solemn Warning and Torrential. Now, in my previous video, I believe I ran a compulsory, and I'm not saying compulsory is bad. In fact, I would think about cutting a Trapstone and adding a compulsory, but I just think against Kleeports, which yes, they go to the extra deck. However, I just think being able to pop a whole board after they Pendulum Summon and being able to put them 1 turn back in time is huge. And there are certain cards like Winda or Construct that this deck has a lot of trouble getting over. And so, yes, you could run a compulsory, but I just like to say, it's not even on the field, Solemn Warning, I'll pay the 2,000, just get rid of it. And you don't have to think, just activate it, and it goes away like a magic eraser. And so that's it for the traps. We run 3, 6, 8 traps. So 10, 8, and 22. Or 22, 10, 8. For the extra deck, for the X-Sabers, a card that I very much like because it's on the mat, and I don't know. Ever since the archetype came out and they released this card as a generic rank, a level 7 synchro, which I think was like at the beginning of when they came out with synchros in general. I've always had some kind of connection. Like I've always loved this card. It's always been my favorite card. You know, you always get asked that question. What's your favorite card? Not even that's good. It's just I like to play it, and I just like that I can play it in here. And you actually kind of need it because if you want to make a rank 7 Dracosac / Master Blades / Big Eye play, you're gonna need either Redux and/or a level 7 synchro. So your Bellum would be one of the targets, and the other target would be Souza. So it's also another good card. It's kind of like our own version of, I guess you could say, Construct. So it's kind of like our Construct. So yeah. Oh boy, this card is amazing against Clayports or anything really. Everything that uses heavy back row is, you know, very vulnerable to this card, and being able to pop 3 cards at a time is amazing, and I just love it. Of course, when Necros come out in the next set, if I were to make a side deck, you'll certainly side one of these out or side both out, and so but because they don't run any spell traps, well, that they set. So but for now, I mean, this is good, really good, and you're probably going to use one of these for a rank 6. And so then we run the 1 copy of Double X-Saber Gotams because he's a boss, and you can just do some nice stuff with a huge monster that a lot of decks can't get over. And like I said earlier with Air Bellum, discarding from the hand is a pain to deal with for opposing players. Another card that's being seen more play with the whole UA archetype coming out is Ultra, with the Ultra Athlete archetype coming out, is missing X-Saber Invoker. I mean, like I said in the previous video, when you have 2 floating, well, not 2 floating, 2 just level 3s that kind of aren't doing anything for you. You can't do anything else. Just go into Invoker. Maybe you have a stray Bogart Knight out, you make a Tiger King, so not bad. Beast is going to be too good against Necros. Catastor, Goyo for your only level 6 other than your High on Lies. I finally fit the Scrap Dragon in, and the Crimson Blader is way too good. I now only run 1 copy of Tiger King because I thought 2 was excessive. So one of this is your only rank 4. Of course, feel free to run Exodus Knight or 101 or Castell, whatever your personal preference is. And then for the higher ranks, we run 1 M7 and 1 Bouncer. Now, real quick, because I know it's getting up there in time, I just want to say that, you know, the guy that commented on my last video was really smart. M7 is really important to the archetype. I only stopped playing this card for a little bit, and that's when I gave the deck profile, and I didn't realize how much worse the deck was without M7, because he's really like a staple in X-Sabers when you think about it, because yes, it's not a quick effect, but you being able to return cards from not only the field, but the graveyard to the hand is quite the great effect. You know, you can think of, obviously, the usual scenarios where you want to return your Fall Troll back to your hand from the graveyard. You want to think about the usual scenarios when you want to compulse a monster from their field back to the hand. Or the interesting scenarios where you destroy their, say, Garunix, if you're playing the very, very rare Fire Kings matchup, return their card back from their graveyard to their hand. Absolutely devastating. Or same thing with Grapha or anything that, you know, that kind of storms out of the graveyard out of nowhere. So M7 is really good. And then Photon Strike Balancer is a very, very lockdown card that opponents hate to see. And then for our final card, I was too lazy to put it in the previous build, the one Big Eye, because it's Big Eye, and taking opponent's monsters is so good. And obviously with the Big Eye and the two econs and the one mind control, I think I thoroughly deliver that message. And so, yep, I wouldn't call it an anti-meta deck. I wouldn't call it, you know, what you can call it what you want, but I would just call it a deck that's fun. It's traditional. If they, God help me, bring back a Rescue Cat, that would be certainly maybe up there again. But for now, you know, I just love playing it. It's just been one of my all-time favorite decks. And so with the regionals mat and the nice old, really old X-Saber cards, I enjoy playing the archetype here in 2014, which is almost 2015. So, yep, this is Hank Saber here. Saber Selection signing off. I am going to probably give you another deck soon. I'm going to give you another Gurja update soon because I really want to get involved with that. And I'll see what else after that. Maybe even a very slight Noble Knight update as well. And we'll see what else. And a Lightsworn update. So, or a Lightsworn, first Lightsworn deck on the profile. On the YouTube profile. So anyway, guys, I just want to say thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys have subscribed by now. Of course, with the whole prize thing, I don't know why you wouldn't want to subscribe. But yeah, I'll be taking requests. If you guys want any deck profiles, certainly give it to you. We have a lot of different stuff at locals that I can easily get you a deck profile for. And yeah, that's all I want to talk about for today. So I'll see you guys later. For now, this is Hank Saber signing off. Peace.